Hey everyone, it's Alex here from Ninja Teacher, and we just had a little team meeting over here to discuss some upcoming stuff with TEFL courses happening soon. We have Eddie and Galen here from the team, and we also have Miranda on Skype, who's abroad at the moment, but she's coming back soon. And I don't think we've introduced you to Eddie yet, so I'll let him introduce himself.
Hey guys, I'm Eddie. I'm from the US. Been out here in Vietnam for about 8 months now, and been working with Ninja Teacher for the past 2.5 months. So I'll be taking a lot of the calls with you guys, and of course offering a lot of ground support when and if you decide to come here.
Galen, you've probably seen in some videos before. How have things been going?
Yeah, things have been going really well. We're just getting ready for the next course to come through. So we've got a meet-up tomorrow night. So we've got some old students from the previous course, and then the new intake. We'll all be getting together, having a couple of drinks and discussing the course, and preparing for the welcome dinner on Saturday. And we also have the new welcome tour and everything. That's pretty cool. You get to see a bit of the city before you start the course, and also just chill out and get to know everyone before you get stuck into becoming a teacher.
And Miranda, how things going? Oh, she's gone. So I was just driving along here on my motorbike, and you see that cart over there? There was one of those that was just in front of me that was carrying bricks, and for some reason a whole bunch fell off the side and just like smashed on the road, and I had to kind of dodge the bricks on the road, which is quite funny because it's really interesting in Vietnam. You see all sorts of weird stuff. Look at that. That was a guy with a fridge on the back of his motorbike. It's really funny how Vietnam is just quite developed in some ways. Like you saw that cafe we were in, which was really nice, and then just random stuff going on in the streets like that. So what I want to cover in this video today is one of the biggest problems with the teaching English market in Vietnam that I've seen happen and that we experience quite a lot here, and if you're coming out to teach, you should be aware of. And that's basically that it can be difficult to get enough teaching hours to make the kind of salary that you want. Now the reason for this is that a lot of schools here pay you by the hour. So a typical going rate is about 15 to 20 US dollars per hour, and you can watch a video that I made that goes into more detail on how much you can make and salaries that I'll link to below. But basically, because a lot of schools pay you an hourly rate, the amount of money you make is determined by the number of hours that you teach. Now the thing about the English learning market in Vietnam is that it's really big. You've got nearly 100 million population in Vietnam. All the parents want to send their kids to English academies to improve their English, to get into better universities, to be able to study abroad, to get good jobs. So it's a huge industry, and because of that, there's hundreds and hundreds of English centers opening all the time, and there are so many that are around, especially in the big cities like Ho Chi Minh City and Hanoi. And what that means is that a lot of these are actually new companies that have just opened up recently, or they might have been around for a while, but because there's a lot of competition, they get students depending on how well they market. So some months they may have less students, some months they may have more. So basically there's a varying demand of how many hours students are spending at their schools, and that means they only have a certain number of hours that they need an English teacher to teach. So if you're a foreign English teacher coming to Vietnam to teach English to these students, you might go and get a job at a school, but they only have a certain number of hours for you in that week. And they'll pay you for those hours, but it might not be as many as you want. So you could make $2,000 per month if you have about 30 hours of teaching per week, but it might be hard to get that many hours from a single school or even multiple schools. So what you see happening a lot is schools will actually offer you a certain number of hours that isn't as many as you want. Maybe they'll only offer you 10 hours, so a couple of days a week worth of classes. So what do you do then? So there's two options then. Well, one is you just start working with that school and then ask them if they can give you more hours as more hours come up. And this is actually quite common for schools to do. They'll give you some hours to start with, and then as you kind of prove yourself as a teacher, they'll give you more and more. And obviously that's not a great situation to start in where you don't know that you're going to get enough hours, but it's just kind of the way it is. So if you do have an opportunity to take a job that has less hours than you want, you may be able to get more hours from that school. The second option is then to work at multiple different schools, and there's a lot of people doing this. So one school may give you a certain number of hours, say 10 hours, and then you go and get another 10 hours from another school. So while I say it's a big problem in the market, it isn't something that can't be overcome, and you can be proactive about it, find work. There's a lot of demand for teachers out here. It's just that this might be the case where you don't get as many hours from one school as you'd like. Another quick tip is to make sure that you find a job, at least one of your jobs, before you get a long-term lease, because it is a big city if you're here in Ho Chi Minh City or Hanoi, and you don't want to sign a lease in an apartment and then get a job on the other side of the city. So for example, if you take our TEFL course out here, then after the course, it's a good idea to stay in a short-term accommodation. Then you find the job within a couple of weeks, and then at that point you can get a long-term lease at an apartment that you like. So if you've watched any of my other videos, you'll know about all the other great benefits of living out here. You can really live a good lifestyle on a salary as an English teacher. You can have a lot of extra free time, and you can have a nice apartment, eat out a lot. Like, it's really good, the salary to living cost ratio, but this is one of the things that you have to factor in. So it's about expectations. Don't come out here expecting just to get that full-time job that will cover you completely. Be a bit flexible when it comes to locations, different jobs, and the number of hours that a certain school gets you, and then you should be good to go. So I just wanted to give you that heads up if you are planning to come out to teach here. I'm off to do a bit more work now. We've got a big course starting this weekend. There's a full class of TESOL students arriving in Ho Chi Minh City and a full class up in Hanoi. So we're planning some events for this weekend and getting that all organized, making sure everyone arrives here safely. And yeah, we'll probably film some videos over this weekend too, so stay tuned for those. Okay, speak to you soon. Peace.